Hey, what's up, guys? Hopefully, everybody had an awesome weekend and it was profitable for DFS, or you had some fun in your personal life, whatever it was. Hope it kicked some serious tail. We are on to Monday, though, to break down the NBA DFS slate for today, and hopefully, everybody can win some money.
I know I missed you because it's been a couple days since we've made videos. So as much as Monday sucks, I'm happy to be back with you.
Oh, thanks, man. That means a lot to me. I appreciate that. All right, enough of the sappy stuff. Let's talk a little basketball, guys. Overlay Fantasy Sports. You were just telling me that you played in the $55 one yesterday, best record wins, and that you were able to just miss the money on this one, huh? Because Zach LaVine beat Hassan Whiteside by, was it 2 points?
Yeah, he beat him by like 2 points. I love the spot for Whiteside, and Levine was going into Philly. So that was my number one confidence pick. In the $22 one, I went 9-3, and I missed my top one because I had Whiteside over Levine. It happens. I will say, playing this last night got me thinking a little bit, though, because we've talked a lot about these 5-pack specials, about how I like those contests better. And I do. But on the flip hand, yesterday, I went 4-1 in the pick 5 and didn't cash. Whereas on the $22 one where he picked 12, I had to pick more of them that I wasn't as confident on, but ended up getting more right, so cashed there. So, like we always talk about, so many different ways to skin the cat.
Yeah, and that $22 one's got a top prize of over 10K right now. That is monstrous. Somebody, please, specifically me or you, finish in the go 12-0 right there. Take down that 10K.
I'm playing it last night, and just as much as I'm checking to, once I know that I'm not going to win it because Westbrook outscored Beal, all I care about is that no one else is going to win it, so I can jump back in it today.
Right, because I think it goes down to 5, right, if somebody wins it?
Yeah, it's crazy right now for a $22 contest to be able to take home 10K. I mean, yeah.
All right, well, sign me up. I'd like to win that bad boy as well, so hopefully somebody can get lucky today, or skilled, however you want to do it. Doesn't really matter. I don't care lucky or skill. I just want that money, right?
Yeah, same.
Speaking of money, so one of the things that we like to talk about over here that I feel like not another websites and shows talk about is appreciating when things will work in your direction. So me, you, probably everybody listening here feels like they have lost money due to overtime games before, right? If you've been playing DFS long enough, that's just the nature of the beast.
Mm-hmm.
So yesterday, I liked Trae Young a lot. Trae Young was very good, but he turned great due to double OT. A couple extra overtimes at like 2% ownership put him up as one of the top overall plays of the day. That was monstrous for me, putting in the money in my double ups, despite getting bad performances from Dylan Brooks, for example. Melton was also terrible for the Memphis Grizzlies, but got real lucky with the double overtime at 2% ownership, puts you up in the money. Going to bed at night, remembering you got lucky today. Enjoy that, because it's so much easier to remember all the times you got unlucky.
For sure, no doubt about it.
All right, guys. So 5-pack deal of the day is not a deal of the day. It is a deal of the week. Welcome aboard to Cody, who just signed up for this one earlier. What we're going to be doing for the rest of the week is we're going to be continue to push the MLB only pre-sale. It is $69 opposed to the normal $99 right now. I will have the price changed after Friday. What you get is not only do you get the 30% off right now to get a full season of MLB, every video, every write-up for only $69, you also will get 10 free days of NBA right now. This is up for a couple more days. I will leave it up through Friday because I know Friday's payday for a lot of people, and if that's what you want to use your payday on, we would love it. It's up through the website. Sign on up, and let's go win some money this year. And Mr. Bellman, with multiple $50,000 wins last year, will try to help you.
Those seem like a lifetime ago. I need one of those coming up soon.
Yeah, I think we could all use one of those. So for me, it's probably not going to happen, but still, it's hard to win 50 grand if you don't play in contests without a $50,000 jackpot.
So yes, it is.
All right. Let's start with some of the plays for today. So I'm assuming he will get a lot of love today. Victor Oladipo is priced down now at $4,200 for the Indiana Pacers. The former All-Star is now up to about 28 minutes per game, and his price is down. If you've been watching Oladipo play, he looks a little better each and every game. This is to be expected, right? He was out for a long time. It's hard just to walk in and be yourself right away when you haven't been playing this sport for about a year. In my opinion, now he's way too cheap with the price drop, the increase in minutes, and what I consider a relatively good spot to be in for him. Now, he's kind of one of those combo guards. We know very well that Brooklyn is one of the worst teams in the league against point guards. He's kind of a point guard, kind of a two guard, a little bit of the in-between. We got a bunch of those in the game right now. Also, a point that you would bring up is, one, he's just good at basketball. He's not totally himself yet, But to get a guy like this, of this talent and this caliber at only 4,200, just over 4K against a Nets team like this, I imagine he gets plenty of love here today, but he should at this price tag.
Yeah, I was looking at him hard on the last slate. I can't remember if that was one we did together or if that was one I covered. It might have been Saturday. I just don't remember. They all meshed together. He was 4,400 that day. I thought he was one of the top value plays on the slate. Ended up not playing a rest day, maintenance day off. So now he's even a little bit cheaper in a better spot. A ton to like here. Solid filler type piece. I don't want to call him a cog yet just because we don't know exactly who he is right now. But at this price point, he's a really nice filler look. I expect somewhere around 25 DK points, and that's big time value at this price point. Obviously, his upside is a little bit limited right now because he hasn't played in so long, but that's coming back. And at this price point, I would say the upside is there only because he's priced so cheap.
Right. I mean, this is a guy that is, when healthy, plays like mid-30s minutes and averages like 40 DK points. Now, clearly, we're not going to call for 40 DK points tonight. However, he's going to have a breakout game one of these days. And don't be surprised if he just meanders into 30 to 35 one of these nights. I'm not saying it'll be tonight, but he's also got a decent floor because of his talent level. Good matchup, everything like that. I'm sure he'll be wildly popular today at this price, but you don't get a lot of former All-Stars playing close to 30 minutes at 4,200.
No, you don't. This is a weird team right now, just in the sense that who is their best player? Oladipo, maybe. Brogdon, maybe. Sabonis, maybe. I think you can make a case for all those guys being the Pacers top dog. Hopefully that's a good thing for them.
Right now, I would say Sabonis, Brogdon, Oladipo. But
sure.
As Oladipo gets healthier, he could vault up to number one. It's debatable between Brogdon and Sabonis. I would pick Sabonis, but Brogdon's also very good. But it's definitely a competition, and it's definitely up for debate. And it'll definitely probably change as Oladipo gets healthier.
For sure, because Oladipo, at his highest, is probably the best of them. I agree with exactly how you put that. But he's not there right now. We haven't seen it in a while. Those guys have gotten better. It is an interesting, I don't want to say dilemma, but it is a kind of a dilemma because Indiana's also struggling right now.
Yeah, it all works. All right, let's move on down. So you want to go over Jay Crowder today. I mean, talk about a guy who came out swinging in his first game with Miami yesterday. I don't know if you agree or disagree with this. I think it's preferable if Jimmy Butler is out. Yeah. We don't know if he's going to play today. I would lean on Butler not playing today because it's a cupcake matchup.
Yes, same. It's definitely better here if Butler's out, but we don't know. We probably won't know. And I thought it was just, a good call to bring up regardless because, as you mentioned, we saw Crowder come out guns blazing last night or guns firing. Had a really good, first game as a member of the Heat. 10x last night in Portland and now gets an even better spot in Golden State. Back-to-back for Miami, so don't love that. However, they've lost 2 games in a row to Portland and Sacramento, so I expect a really good effort from them today. A good team in the Heat. I expect them to win this game. Crowder still needs to get acclimated with his new squad. We know what this guy can do. I think this is a really good spot for him to come in, give us value once again. Assuming Butler out, I expect somewhere around 30 DK points here if this game stays close. And he is a cog in the machine type of play. Even though we don't know his role yet for Miami, at this price point, he just works.
I like the fit with him with Miami, too. He's exactly the kind of ball player that they go after. Ball player. That sounds more like a baseball thing. He's exactly the kind of teammate that they go after. Hard-nosed, plays defense, capable of shooting the 3-ball a little bit, especially when he gets hot. A little hit or miss on the 3, but a lot of people will be like that. He's also a guy who's played for 100 different teams in the last 3 years. So it's easier for him to walk into a new team because it's something that he's used to, having gone from Boston, Cleveland, Utah, Memphis, Miami. Clearly this is a veteran player who's been on the move a significant number of times. So I don't think this is as big a deal for him as it would be for some other guys. Golden State's terrible. We all know this. He's a guy who can get steals and blocks. So against a turnover-prone team like this, I will look at him much more likely if Butler is out because that's just more wing minutes to go around. But he's probably in play either way. And he's got to be way more game ready than Iguodala is.
Yeah, most definitely. I do agree with you, though. He's fine if Butler's in because of his price point. But he's really only a necessity, a guy we really want to play if Butler's out. Just because Butler's going to take up so much of the usage because it's Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, usage and minutes. Like these guys are similar size, similar type of wing players. And if you take out Butler's, 34 minutes a game or whatever it is, they have to go somewhere. And Crowder is a very likely guy to pick up a lot of those. So I do not expect Butler to play though. Like I just don't see him being not good enough to go yesterday. But then they force him into a game against a cupcake Golden State team that you should be able to win regardless.
I agree. It's a nice way of looking at it.
All right, so I want to talk about Devonte Graham, and I want to make sure I'm clear as we bring this up. This is a discussion topic as opposed to oh, you got to play Devonte Graham today. All right, so I wanted to talk it over with you, kind of go through some of the ups and downs. Hopefully, we can get into a little bit more detail on members only as well. So Graham was a guy that for a beginning portion of the season was making a lot of rosters, was outperforming his salary consistently. Looked like the most improved player in the game. And then he really had an off month. Very few games in January did he look like himself. Now he's coming off of two much better games, shooting the ball better. The assists are back up. You got the Hornets clearly pushing the youth movement right now, parting ways with guys like Michael Kidd Gilchrist and Marvin Williams to go to, more playoff competitive teams so that they continue to push the youth of the Bridges and the Washingtons of the world. So, what are your thoughts on Graham's ownership today? You think he slides under the radar, or do you think this is a guy people are going to be looking at?
I think he slides under the radar. I think people are kind of off him now, and I can't blame him, man. Like he was definitely a guy I looked at, but certainly not a guy I'm locking in. I love when we bring up guys like this because we don't do it that often. We can only bring up four guys on this show, so it's sometimes hard to take out, a guy and just bring up as a discussion point. But I'm glad we're doing it today because this is definitely a guy I was looking at as well. I'm not sure exactly what to make of him right now. Clearly, he's got upside at this price because we saw it basically throughout the whole beginning part of the season. He's come back a little bit, but he went through a really tough stretch. I do not know what to make of him here.
Either do I, but that's where I thought. I thought I would lean on the same side as you. I don't think a lot of people go here because, again, he came out of nowhere in a lot of ways to be one of the
Yes.
nice stories of the first half, and it took people a while to buy into him. And then he did hit an extended period of a rough patch. He had a good game against Portland a few weeks ago, and then had a bunch of off games. I mean, his games before Portland were not that great. But this is a guy, once it looks like his confidence could be back up. And we've seen him regularly drop 50 balls this season in multiple occasions, not like once or twice. Like, if I had to go back and look just based on guess, I bet you he's got at least 10 games of over 50 DK points this year, which means that, I don't know, like 20% of the time he's 7Xing off of a price tag like this. I mean, if you're scared of Detroit defense, I'm shocked because I don't think anybody is right now. It's a team that just kind of blew itself up, still learning to play together with its brand new pieces. Graham is a guy I like, especially in the GPP mold tonight, because I have to assume that, especially with other guards out there, that he just does not get much love today. But there aren't a lot of guys, priced in this range where you feel pretty good that they have like a decent shot at giving you real good GPP value.
Yeah, we agree on this one wholeheartedly. If I'm making one lineup, it's really hard to get there, but also definitely understand your points that most guys priced at 7K don't have 10, 50 plus games on the year.
Exactly. So I thought it'd be an interesting one to go over today. Downside, clear. We've seen the downside a lot lately. Like there's a lot of like 20-some point games in here, which would be a huge disappointment, but he looks confident for the first time in a while.
Do you think that he's still the most improved player?
Ooh, I don't know about that. I definitely, the last month or so has shoved him down that list. Now, it's hard to kick him off that list because he was nothing last year. You know what I mean? And now he's been a very, very good NBA player this year, averaging 18 points a game and almost 8 assists is quality. But he's not the lock he was a month ago, I'll tell you that much.
No, he definitely will be on the list. I mean, he's got to be on the list, regardless of what he does, because for that first half of the year, for me, and again, I haven't really looked at it. I'm just going off the top of my head. Bam would have my vote as of right now.
Bam is wildly considered to have himself a great year.
It's something that, sorry to interrupt you, but it's something that you talk about a lot also. Is the award most improved or now in a better opportunity? Because that's kind of what Bam is in. He's improved, but he's also in a much better spot.
Yeah, I mean, Graham looked like an all-star to start the year. Now, he hasn't lately, but it's starting to look better right now. So it's definitely an intriguing GPP play.
Cool.
All right, let's move on down the list. Funny, I picked a guy who was more of a GPP play, and you look like a guy who's been a cash game staple for a lot of his career, despite not looking like it the majority of the year. And I'm guessing one of the things you like is He's got 20-plus points in back-to-back games, 20-plus DK points, despite shooting 4-24 from the field.
I love that. That's exactly why I wanted to bring him up. Seems like he couldn't reach 20 DK points forever in the past couple weeks. Now he's there back-to-back games, despite, like you said, shooting awful. In that first game, he shot 0 of 13, I believe, still walked into 20 DK points. I want to make it clear that Harris is not a guy I roster hardly ever. I'm not a big Gary Harris fan. He's much more of a cash game guy than a GPP guy in most nights.
And a much better real-life player than DFS player.
No doubt about that. I respect Harris's game real life wise a lot. He definitely fits what Denver's doing. If not a must for them, he fits what they do. So today, however, at 4,100, we talked about 20 plus in back-to-back games. Not scared of that San Antonio defense, even if they have been playing better. It's the type of matchup where I'm not like going out of my way to pick on Sacramento, but I'm not afraid to use Harris or San Antonio, but I'm not afraid to use Harris because of San Antonio. Starting to find his rhythm a little bit. Denver's getting healthy. Again, we'll take 20 DK points here at this price, and he's, walked into that 2 games in a row despite shooting horribly. If his shot picks up a little bit, he's got legit 30-point upside here. I like Harris more than maybe I've ever liked him on this slate.
So I also think, just as kind of a side note, in an age where fantasy dominates the sports narratives a lot of time, at least for the people we're talking to, understanding the difference between who's good real life basketball and who's good at fantasy, talent and opportunity, what you do on the court. Gary Harris is a good basketball player. He's a guy that I would take on my team in a heartbeat, good defense, solid 3-point shooter. He's just never going to stuff the stat sheet the way that some other guys can. Then you take a look at a guy like a Willie Hernan-Gomez from the Hornets. He's not very good at real life basketball, but he puts up big numbers. They are 2 totally different things.
I was going to say like Andre Drummond, man. I mean, look at it's true, and it's so true, and it's hard for even us to. My thoughts on Harris have changed in the past couple of years because he's been such a disappointment fantasy wise. It shouldn't have though, because like you said, he definitely fits that Denver culture. He's a good defender. He's unselfish. He's a very good real life player.
Yeah, that's so I was I'm on a lot of social media, so I was watching this guy break down how, in his opinion, Scottie Pippen was not a top 300 all-time NBA player, and he wasn't even a top 40 small forward of all time, and he started giving all these stats on other guys. I'm like, dude, you just have no idea how to evaluate basketball. I mean, one, when you play the majority of your career with Michael Jordan,
right?
You're not going to put up monster offensive numbers, especially in the age that he was playing in and stuff like that. He's also arguably the greatest wing defender of all time, and you can't accumulate numbers with something like that. There are 2 sides of the ball. It is very easy, especially for us fantasy dorks like me and you and everybody listening, to just look at numbers. And you mentioned Andre Drummond, for example, but that doesn't dictate how you control and help your team winning. Scottie Pippen is an excellent NBA player who could lock down almost anybody on the wing at any point. And his numbers weren't great all the time, but man, what he did for a team is huge.
Yeah, I think you'd struggle to see, people in the know on the NBA. Most of those people would have Pippen as a top 50 player of all time.
Yeah, I mean, his wing defense was epic. Him and Jordan out there locking down opponents. You just weren't getting easy buckets as a wing player against those guys.
And I don't want to state this as a fact, but I'm pretty sure in the couple of years Jordan was gone, Pippen had really good numbers, very good numbers.
That's where it is one of the arguments that I've made, and again, I'm team Michael Jordan over LeBron, but I'm also that team that it's not as distant as some people want to make it out to be.
Sure.
The Bulls were pretty good when Michael Jordan retired for that year. They damn near went to the Eastern Conference Finals without the greatest basketball player of all time. So they were not a scrub team because, solely led by Jordan and everything like that. They were well coached. They had some good players. They had a lot of good filler pieces, guys who knew how to do their job. Again, Jordan's the GOAT, but let's not pretend like this team was a bunch of scrubs without him.
Definitely a very solid squad without him. I mean, you just talked about it. Pippen was an all-star type player without Jordan, in every facet of the game. He was just a perfect fit with Michael Jordan, but that is crazy to think he's not a top 40 small forward of all time. Now, his rankings in the top 50 ever have gone down since that was made in 1995 or whatever, because other players have come into the league. But he is no doubt Hall of Famer, no doubt top 100 player of all time.
Also, the way the game's played these days, so for anybody that's played basketball over the last 25 years, just numbers are probably going to be better. Why? Because we shoot the three ball so much more now. The run and gun pace, back in the day when there was teams like the Showtime Lakers moving as quickly as they did, it was a big deal. Now half the teams in the association don't care about defense and just run up and down. Fantasy is about talent, but it's also about opportunity, and numbers can be deceiving. You mentioned your new Cavs player, Andre Drummond. I mean, he's probably one of the top guys to talk about in a situation
Yeah,
like that.
seriously. I mean, I don't want to say he's not good because that's just an insult to Andre Drummond, but he's never done anything to impact winning. And we're talking about one of like the premier, stat stuffers in the entire game. So you're 100% right that it's not correlated. Hardly ever. I mean, it is correlated because, like LeBrons of the world obviously put up great numbers. It's just not like a straight line. Just because you put up great numbers or just because you don't, doesn't mean you're not good or good at fantasy or vice versa.
It was like people trying to make the argument for Harden to be the MVP last year, just solely based on points per game. And it's like, well, LeBron was hurt, so we won't take him. But LeBron, Kawhi, Giannis, KD, guys like that, they could all average 35 to 40 points a game if they wanted to take the monster workload that like a James Harden does. It's not like they're not capable. So don't look at Kevin Durant's 28 points a game and James Harden's 36 and think he's 8 points better. He shoots the ball 12 times more per game.
Yeah, we talked about that when we were talking about we talked about that last week about how his usage is so. Oh yeah, we were talking about how Damian Lillard's stretch has been so amazing and just even better than what Harden does because even if you watched the game yesterday with Harden, man, he just keeps shooting. And I get it. He's like the best in the game, but he was off yesterday. And I think he really took the Rockets out of that game.
Could be. He does that from time to time. So anyway, guys, that's it for the day. That baseball MLB package is up for a couple more days. If you want to take advantage of it, it's one of the better deals we'll have out there all season long. Get 10 free days of NBA, 30% off. It will change this weekend. So if you want it, that's the best time to get it. Outside of that, thumbs up is appreciated and have a great Monday.
Thanks, guys.